recording. Okay. Okay, I saw that in the homework set where they put the 1 in there, and I'm looking at that, but I want you to think about something, okay? So I'm looking at one right now, and it talks about what is the probability of winning the raffle, and what is the probability of not winning the raffle. So it wanted to know, okay, the probability of each. So let me explain that a little bit to you guys, okay? If I want, let's say this, okay? If I sold, I'm just going to make a problem up, okay? If I have 500 raffle tickets, okay, 500 raffle tickets. Okay, 500 raffle tickets. So what is the probability of me winning that raffle if there are 500 raffle tickets, okay? Let's not I sold them, but if there are 500 raffle tickets and I bought 10, let's say I bought 10. So what's the chances of me winning, okay? So the probability of me winning the raffle, okay? So the probability of me winning it, I'm going to call that probability of win, would be I bought 10 tickets out of 500, okay? So now I need to simplify that fraction, and I can simplify the fraction. Right now I notice that they end in zeros. I can swipe those out. So I have a 1 in 50 chance of winning the lottery. So the question is, and this is the part with the 1, where you have to subtract with the 1, what is the probability of me not winning? What if I don't win? What are the chances of that happening? Okay, so what they're doing on that 1 minus is they're saying, you know, the probability to start with is always 100 or 1, a whole. So they said, okay, well, then we'll subtract off the chances of me winning, and then that'll give me the chances of me not winning. You don't have to do that. If I look at this question, I can tell you right away. If the probability of me winning is 1 chance out of 50, then there are 49 chances that I'm going to lose, okay? Because there's 50 total. So if I got 1 chance to win, I've got 49 chances not to win. So if I set it up like this, that's what it's giving me. This is saying 50 over 50 minus 1 over 50, and that's just 49 over 50. So don't let that confuse you, okay? They're just setting it up more mathematically, but you can use your common sense. Now, probability, this is the probability. Then you saw another word in there, and that word was called the odds. Okay, what are the odds? What are the odds? If you're a gambler, you know these words. I'm not really a gambler, but okay, so what are the odds of me winning? What are the odds? You can say, I think you can set up either way. You can figure out the odds for me to win or the odds against me winning, either way. So what are the odds for me if I'm gonna, let's say the odds against me winning. So I would take my probability of not winning, okay, and I would put that over the probability of me winning. And that gives me what we call the odds. So I would take 49 over 50, and then I would divide that by 1 over 50. Okay, so the probability of me not winning. So again, this is called the odds when you see a question with that. The probability of me not winning is 49 over 50, and the probability of me winning is 1 over 50. So this setup right here, again, it is the odds against winning. Okay, so this is the odds against winning because the not is on top. Okay, so I'm not going to win. If you have a calculator that does fractions, you can do the fractions on it. If you don't, then you're going to have to do a little bit of work before you can stick it in your calculator. Okay, to divide fractions, we use something and we call it keep it, change it, flip it. Okay, so we keep the first fraction the same. This bar right here means to divide. We change the divide to multiply, and then we flip the second fraction over. So once again, we keep the first fraction the same. We change the divide to multiply, and we flip the second fraction over. Okay? So now on your calculator, you could multiply this out. You could do 49 times 50 and get that number. And then you would do 50 times 1 and get that number and then divide it. Or if you're really good with fractions and you remember this, when you are multiplying, see I'm multiplying right there? If you have a factor in the numerator and the same factor in the denominator, those guys cancel out. So that leaves me with 49 over 1, which is just 49. So the odds of me not winning the raffle is 49 to 1. Okay, 49 to 1. Probably not going to win it. 49 to 1 against me. Okay, so those are the odds. Just be careful because the odds of whatever you're looking for, that goes on the top. So if I was doing the odds of winning, then it would be flipped over. Okay. Let me see. Tiffany, let me see if I can find that number, the next one you wanted to look at. Oh, it was the same question. It was the same type of question because it says, what is the probability that the person is in the Army or in the Navy? I'll show it to you so you can see it. Okay. Let me see, I'm sorry, I had to close that other one to make this one work. Okay, so this is the other one. So this is question 16, and it's the same type of question. It says if one person is randomly selected from the population represented in the bar graph, find the probability that the person is in the Army or the Navy. So this time, my total count, is it the same graph as last time? I think the numbers look the same. 320, 300, 420, 170, and then the 60, 70, I think those are the same numbers. Okay, so I'm doing Army and Navy this time. So this time I would add the Army, which is going to be 420 and 10. You got to count the men and the women because you want to know the total Army. So for Army, I've got probability of Army is 430 over my total number was 1,430. And then the probability of Navy, that's 320 plus 80, okay, because men and women in the Navy, that's going to be 400. So probability of Navy is 400 over 1,430. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to whiteboard so you guys can see it. Okay, so what I found from that bar graph was the probability of Army is 430 over the total number of people, which was 1,430. The probability of Navy is 400 over 1,430. And remember, this is one of the or. So it said this or this. So what I'll do is I'll take my first probability plus my second one. Okay. Denominator stays the same because when I'm adding fractions and I have a common denominator, it stays the same. So 430 plus 400 is 830. And so now I'm going to divide this on my calculator. So on my calculator, I'm typing in 830 divided by 1,430. Okay. So 830 divided by 1,430 is approximately 0.58. So I have about a 58% chance of randomly picking somebody who's in the Army or the Navy. I think there were some questions in there with lots of questions with the deck of cards. Did y'all notice that? Yeah, I saw that. So Tiffany, you've only gotten through the first section, section 7.6. That's the one you're working on. Okay, let me go back and look and turn that off. Okay, so 7.6, then you've got 7.7 next. And let me look at the grade book. And let's see when that quiz is due. Should be coming up. I think I said on the 22nd, which that's next week. Yeah, that's next Tuesday. So that'll be the day it's due, your next quiz, which again, you take that from home and you need to take it twice. Please don't wait until the 22nd to take your quiz. You should really try it on the 21st and then check it out. Take some notes while you're taking the quiz. Write some of the problems down. You know, see if you can find some examples in the book. I don't know if you guys are utilizing the textbook itself, but I'm going to screen share this with you because I want you to see that you guys can open the textbook. So I'm going to go back to the main menu. Okay, yours kind of looks like this, but I've got all these things down here that you guys don't have. Okay. But if you see this button right here, it's called Multimedia Library. I'm going to click on it, and then it's going to open up the textbook. So this is what the textbook looked like if you would go and buy it. And so you want sections, you want to go to chapter 7, okay, and you want sections 7.6 and 7.7. I'm going to select all on here, and I'm going to click Find Now. Okay, so then at the bottom, you're going to notice here's the textbook, here's some PowerPoints, here's some video lectures, and then there's separate videos for each one, which those are the videos, some of those videos are the ones you're watching already. Okay, I don't think we have every single video uploaded for you guys. I think it's just the big video, this one right here, but you can take these little snippet videos if you want to do just a little piece at a time. You should be utilizing your multimedia library, okay? So I'm going to open up the textbook so you guys can see it. Let me get that loaded and then, okay. I'm going to turn this off for just a second because I have to change my application. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this would be just like if you were opening the textbook up. So this is 7.6. And I said this last time, I want to say, about how you can scroll through the textbook and it will really help you. You guys, you need to be utilizing all the stuff that you have in this course. I had that in the introductory video, you know, when you first started the class. I know it's a little overwhelming when you first start the class, but it'll really help. I mean, you can go through and you can read. It gives you example problems. So this is all in the textbook. Remember, a lot of you ask, and I said, no, the textbook's online. It's in our course. Okay, so there it is. There's all the pages. It explains each one. So if you're watching the video and it's still confusing to you, then open up the textbook and come and look at some of the examples. This is one kind of like the one we just did. You know, if this one says, what's the probability the person is divorced or male? So you go through and this one's nice because they totaled it for you already. So you take divorced over the total, you take males over the total, okay? And then you would add those together, divorced or male. Remember, the or means I add them. Okay, so there's the textbook. Okay, is there anything else anybody wants to see? Anything else? 7.7, that's the next section that you guys are going to do. This one, the word changes. Let me get a whiteboard up here so I can show you. The word changes from the 7.6. Those are using the word or. Okay, it was in the army or a male, and we added, right? We added the two probabilities together. But when you get to 7.7, the word changes to and, okay? And instead of adding, when we get to the ands, you have to multiply, okay? So you're going to multiply on these. But all the other stuff stays the same. So, for example, I'll find one in here that I can demonstrate pretty easily and quickly for you so that you can see how to do those. Let me see. Here's one. Right here. Okay, I'm going to pull up the book and I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to close this for just a second, and actually that's going to go away now, but let me go to section 7.7 and I'm going to open up the textbook. I wish I could have two applications open at one time, but I can't. Okay, so I'm going to go to page 480 in the textbook because there's a good picture in there I want to use. Okay. Okay, so this is the textbook. Okay. So let's look at this problem right here. You see the spinner? We've got a red, a green, a red, a yellow, a red, and a green. Okay, so this question number 7, I don't know how well you can see it, but question 7 says, if the pointer shown above is spun 3 times, so I'd pluck that, spin it around 3 times. Find the probability it will land on, and this is problem number 7, a green, and then a red, and then a yellow. Okay, so it says a green, and then a red, and then a yellow. I wish I could write on here. I don't think I can, though. No, it won't let me. Okay. I think it's just going to let me highlight like that. Yeah, green. And then a red. And then a yellow. Okay, a green, and then a red, and then a yellow. Okay, so let's look at the probability of me rolling green or spinning a green. 2 greens on here. And there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the probability of me getting a green is 2 out of 6. Okay, so then it says, and then getting a red. So there are 3 reds on here. So the probability of me getting a red is 3 out of 6 because there's 6 slices of pie, if you want to think of it like that. Okay, and then a yellow. So the probability of me getting a yellow, there's only 1 yellow on the spinner. So it's 1 out of 6. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Because I'm going to have to close the book so I can write on the whiteboard and show you how to do it. So I got my green is 2 out of 6. My red is 3 out of 6. And my yellow is 1 out of 6. Okay. So if I come back over here and I get on my whiteboard, I know that the probability of a green, it was 2 out of 6. The probability of a red, it was 3 out of 6. And that was just me counting the colors on the little wheel. And the probability of me getting a yellow was 1 out of 6. Okay. So the directions, or the problem said, and then red, and then yellow. It had the word and in it. Okay, the word and. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to multiply. I'm going to take my first probability, that's green, times my second probability, that's red, times my last probability, that's yellow. So to multiply fractions, I multiply across the top. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. I multiply across the bottom. 6 times 6 is 36. And 36 times 6 is, I don't have it in my head, 36 times 6. 216. Thank you. 216. So I do have to simplify this though. I know that 6 is going to go into 216 because I got 216 by multiplying these 6's together. So I'm going to simplify the fraction. Some of you, if you were in school a long time ago like me, we didn't say simplify, we said reduce. Okay, reduce. So I'm going to divide the numerator and the denominator both by 6, and that's going to give me a 1. If I divide 216 by 6, that gives me a 36. So the probability of me getting a green, then a red, then a yellow, I have a 1 in 36 chance of that happening. And I knew that I was going to have to multiply. That dot means multiply. I knew that I was going to have to multiply those together because of the word and. And so the problems in that section, that's all 7.7, okay? It's the and ones. And that's what your quiz is over. Your quiz is over just those two sections, 7.6 and 7.7. And if you get you may want to go ahead and get the formula sheet when you go back in to take your next test. It's got a couple of equations on there, but you may need for the final you're going to need it because it's got the combinations and permutations and it's got all your stuff on it. The lady at the testing center, when I went up there the other day, she said some of you guys were confused because of the titles of the math classes on the top. You guys are actually in a 312 class, but because you're in an internet class, it's listed differently. But you're taking the same curriculum as a 312. So that's why the formula chart is the same for both of those. Okay, anything else? I see one other, okay, Tiffany, I see one other thing though. Let me show y'all one other thing, okay? I just noticed it in here. This is from 7.7, okay? So in 7.7, you're going to see the word and that means you're going to multiply. But you're going to also see something that we say that it's a conditional probability. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, it would be like this. Like, let's say that I have a box of chocolates. Okay, so somebody gave me one of those Valentine hearts for Valentine's Day. And inside of it, I had 5 that were coconut. Okay, 5 coconut. I had 10 that were caramel. Okay, and I had 15 that were solid. So that's what's inside my little heart. Okay. So let's figure out a probability. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out, because you know how you like taste the ones that have the fillings in it and then you throw those away that you don't really like. So let's say that I'm going to randomly pull out. So random, I'm going to take one. I'm going to eat it, right? And then I'm going to take another. Okay. I'm going to take a different one. I'm going to take a second one. So obviously if I eat it, I can't put it back in, right? Okay, so your first step is going to be to get the total number of chocolates, because remember, when we do our probability, we always put the total on the bottom. Okay, we put that total on the bottom. So we got to figure out how many chocolates were there so far. So that's 25 plus 5, which is 30. So there's a total of 30 chocolates in our little chocolate. Okay, so what is the probability of me getting 2 chocolates in a row? So how am I going to write that? I'm going to write chocolate, comma, chocolate. So what is the probability of that happening? Me getting a chocolate, eating it, pulling another one out, and getting a solid chocolate the second time. Okay? So I have to figure out the probability of me getting a chocolate on the first go round. So remember, there are 30 candies in the heart, and of the 30, 15 of them are chocolate, right? then what's the chance of me getting a chocolate on the second go round? Okay, now I've already eaten one of them, correct? So are there still 30 in the box? How many are in the box now? Because I ate one of them. There's only 29. That's right. There's only 29. Okay, and I ate one of the chocolates. So I don't have 15 chocolates anymore. What do I have now? I only have what? 14 chocolates. So this one was an and, right? Take one and then take a second one. So I multiply these two together. Okay, I multiply them together. So what's the probability of that happening? Well, I'm going to simplify a little bit first because I don't have a graphing calculator. So what do I mean by that? I notice this fraction right here, 15 over 30, 15 goes into itself once and into 30 twice. So that's going to make my life a lot easier instead of having to work with that big fractional number. So now I multiply. 1 times 14 is 14. And 2 times 29 is 58. Okay, so I'm going to simplify. I know they're both even numbers, so I'm going to divide them by 2, divide by 2. And so 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 58 divided by 2 is 29. So I have a 7 in 29 chance of getting a chocolate than another chocolate out of that box with those 30 pieces of candy in it. We could do all kinds of different ones. Like we could say a coconut and then a caramel. We could say a coconut and then a coconut, you know, whatever. They can word it a bunch of different ways. You just have to remember that once you eat it, it's gone. So if you're pulling the same one out, then it's gone. I don't think any of these, I'm looking at just the book problems. The only time it wouldn't work like this is if it said that I put it back in. But like in this case, you wouldn't put the candy back in. But, you know, what if it said that I pulled a card, like the David Blaine thing? I pulled a card and then I put that card back in, then my chances at the bottom, my total at the bottom wouldn't change. You know, my total at the top wouldn't change because if I put the card back in, it doesn't change. But if I pulled the card out and I didn't put it back in, then I have to subtract 1. Okay. Okay, so that was the only other thing. So that's second type of problem you're going to see in section 7.7. And that should make a little bit more sense when you start watching the videos. Okay, anything else? Anything I can help you with? I did upload that last video that we had, and I'll try to do the same thing. It just takes a long time because the files are so big, you know, because we're going on 50 minutes now. So I ended up uploading it to YouTube because I couldn't email it out. The file was too big. So I'll put it back on my YouTube channel, and then you guys can just pull it up from there. Okay, if that's all, then we'll go ahead and end our session unless anybody has a question.